Hello everybody, today we discuss the RNA processing. As we know, the process of transcription where a messenger RNA is formed from DNA molecule, later it translates the genetic code and formation of protein, which is called translation. Before translation, newly synthesized RNA is processing or certain change occurs before the process of translation. There are three types of changes occur in a messenger RNA molecule. First one is the RNA processing includes the addition of a methylated guanine residue at the 5' end called the cape. Second, removing segments introns of the RNA internally by a process called RNA splicing. And third, addition of 100 to 200 adenine nucleotides to the 3' end, which is called a process of polyadenylation. Let us discuss about the primary transcript. What is a primary transcript? A newly synthesized RNA molecule is called a primary transcript. The primary transcript for a eukaryotic messenger RNA typically contains sequences encompassing one gene, although the sequences encoding the polypeptide may not be contiguous. Non-coding tracks that break up the coding region of the transcript are called introns, and the coding segments are called exons. What is splicing? Splicing, the introns are removed from the primary transcript and the exons are joined to form a continuous sequence that specifies a functional polypeptide. What is polyadenylation? Eukaryotic messenger RNAs are also modified at each end. A modified residue called a 5' cap is added at the 5' end. The 3' end is clipped and 80 to 250 A residues are added to create a poly A tail, which is called a process of polyadenylation. In this figure, we saw the formation of the primary transcript and its processing during maturation of messenger RNA in a eukaryotic cell. The 5' cap, which is indicated at red, is added before the synthesis of the primary transcript is completed. A non-coding sequence is which is called introns. Following the last exon is shown in the orange. Splicing can occur either before or after the cleavage and polyadenylation step. All the process shown in here takes place in the nucleus. In this figure, we saw the primary transcript of bacterial and eukaryotic transfer RNA are processed by the removal of sequences from each end and in a few cases by removal of introns. Many base and sugars in transfer RNA are also modified. These are the bases of transfer RNA molecules. These are the pyrimidine and these are the purine bases. Mature transfer RNA are repeat with unused bases not found in other nucleic acid. Some modified base of transfer RNA and ribosomal RNA produced in post-transcriptional reaction. These are the modified base which is formed in the post-transcriptional reaction. Now we discussed about the eukaryotic messenger RNAs are kept at 5' and most eukaryotic RNAs have a 5' cap, a residue of 7-methyl guanosine linked to the 5' terminal residue of the messenger RNA through an unusual 5' triphosphate linkage. The 5' cap helps protect messenger RNA from ribonuclease. It also binds to a specific cap binding complex of proteins and participate in binding of the messenger RNA to the ribosome to initiate translation. The 5' cap is formed by condensation of a molecule of guanosine triphosphate with the triphosphate at the 5' end of the transcript. The guanine is subsequently methylated at N7 and additional methyl groups are often added at the 2' hydroxyl of the first and second nucleotides adjacent to the cap. This figure shows that the three phosphate group are added in the 5 days position of a ribose 5 days carbonate of position of a ribose sugar, and this is one ribose sugars and this the another ribose sugar, and and in between these two ribose sugar a triphosphate 5 days triphosphate linkage is formed. And this the 7-methyl guanosine is joined at the 5 days end of almost all eukaryotic messenger RNA is an unusual 5 days 5 days triphosphate linkage. Methyl group CH3 are often found at the 2 days position of the first and second nucleotides. This is the first and this is the second nucleotides, and this is the methyl group CH3 group which is added at the second carbon atom position of second and first nucleotides uh, in the east, and like the two methyl groups, the two methyl groups on the second nucleotide generally found only in RNAs from vertebrate cells. The methyl groups are derived from S-adenosylmethionine. All this reaction occurs very early in transcription. After the first 20 to 30 nucleotides of the transcript have been added, all three of the capping enzymes and two of them the 5 days end of transcript itself are associated with the RNA polymerase 2 CTD. The CTD or C-terminal domain of RNA polymerase is the largest subunit, which consists of a multiple haptet repeats. These are the 7 amino acid group link each other. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, varying in number from 26 in yeast and 52 in vertebrates. The C-terminal domain function to help couple transcription and processing of the nascent RNA and also plays a role in transcription, elongation, and termination. Until the cape is synthesized, the capped 5 days end is then released from capping enzymes and bound the cape binding complex. This figure shows the generation of 5 cape involve 4 to 5 separate steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next one is the synthesis of cape is carried out by enzyme tetrad to the CTD of polymerase 2. The cape remains tethered to the CTD through an association with the cape binding complex CBC. This is the cape binding complex and uh, cape binding complex. This is and this is the cape. RNA catalyzes the splicing of introns. There are 4 classes of introns. And the first two, the group 1 and 2 introns, differ in details of their splicing mechanism but share one surprising characteristics. They are self-splicing, no protein enzymes are involved. Group 1 introns are found in some nuclear, mitochondrial, and chloroplast genes that code for ribosomal RNA, messenger RNA, and transfer RNA. In group 2 introns, which are generally found in primary transcript of mitochondrial or chloroplast messenger RNA in fungi, algae, and plants. Group 1 and group 2 introns are also found among the rare example of introns in bacteria. Neither class requires a high energy cofactor such as adenosine triphosphate for splicing. The splicing mechanism in both groups involves two trans-esterification reaction steps. This figure shows the trans-esterification reaction, and the first step in the two-step splicing of group 1 introns, in which this example is 3 days weight of a guanosine molecule. This is the guanosine molecule, and the 3 days weight and act as a nucleophile which attacking the phosphodiester linkage. This is the phosphodiester linkage between U and A residues. This is A and this is U residues uh, uh, as an exon-intron junction of an RNA molecule. And now uh, guanosine molecule split the exon-introns binding, and later it forms a ribose 2 or 3 days hydroxyl groups make a nucleophilic attack. This is the 2 days or 3 days hydroxyl group which is produced uh, to join the guanosine and intron molecule. What is a nucleophile? The nucleophile can attack from the top or bottom and therefore create a racemic product. It is important to use aprotic. Aprotic means which is no oxygen hydrogen or nitrogen hydrogen bonds. The A means without and protic refers to the proton or hydrogen atoms. The molecules have no hydrogen atoms on oxygen or nitrogen. This only phosphorus and a new phosphodiester bond is formed at the expense of the old, maintaining the balance of energy. These reactions are very similar to the DNA breaking and rejoining reactions promoted by topoisomerase, which is shown in this figure. This is the bacterial type 1 topoisomerase result after linking number. A proposed reaction sequences for the bacterial topoisomerase is illustrated. First one, a DNA molecule binds to the close conformation and one DNA strand is clipped. This is the DNA strand, and topoisomerases bind one DNA strand and which is clipped later. And second, the enzyme changes to its open conformation and the other DNA strand moves through the break in the first strand. This is the open conformation and next DNA strand is break. And third one is the closed conformation. The DNA strand is related or regenerated. This is the third one, and the new the DNA strand is now regenerated. This indicates the DNA nucleotide. Group 1 splicing. The group 1 splicing reaction requires a guanine nucleoside or nucleotide cofactor, but the cofactor is not used as a source of energy. Instead of 3-days hydroxyl group of guanosine is used as a nucleophile. In the first step of the splicing pathway, the guanosine 3-days hydroxyl group forms a normal 3-days 5-days phosphodiester bond with the 5-days end of the intron. In this figure, we saw the group 1 splicing mechanism, group 1 intron splicing mechanism. The nucleophile in the first step may be guanosine, guanosine monophosphate, guanosine diphosphate, or guanosine triphosphate. The spliced intron is eventually degraded. This is the spliced intron. The B-hydroxyl of the exon that is displaced in the step then acts as nucleophile in a similar reaction at the 3-days end of the introns. There is a beta hydroxyl end of the exon. Hydroxyl that is displaced the step that acts as a nucleophile in a similar reaction at the 3-days end of the introns. The result is precise excision of the introns and ligation of the exon. This is the introns are out, and now the exons are binding. In group 2 introns, the reaction pattern is similar except for the nucleophile in the first step, which is in this case is 2-hydroxyl group of an A residue within the introns. A branch, lariat or loop structure is formed as an intermediate not designated with a group number. Most introns are self-splicing and these types are not designated with a group number. This figure shows the group 2 introns splicing mechanism. similar to the first instance, except for the identity of the nucleophile in the first step and the formation of a lariat-like intermediate in which one branch 2 days 5 days phosphodiester bond is formed. This is the bond. The third and largest class of introns include those found in nuclear messenger RNA primary transcript. These are called as pleosomal introns because their removal occurs within and is catalyzed by a large protein complex called a pleosome. Within this pleosome, the introns undergo splicing by the same lariat forming mechanism as the group 1 introns. The spleosome is made up of specialized RNA protein complexes, smaller nuclear RNA. The SNRNPs, which is called small molecular ribonuclear protein, uh, which is found in the nucleus, where introns often which are found in the nucleus, often pronounced as nerve. Uh, each SNRP contains one of a class of eukaryotic RNAs, 100 to 200 nucleotides long, known as the small nuclear RNAs or snRNAs. 5 small nuclear RNAs, which are in name as U1, U2, U4, U5, and U6 involved in splicing reaction are generally found in abundance in eukaryotic nuclei. The RNAs and proteins in small nuclear RNAs are highly conserved in eukaryotic form is to humans. In messenger RNA splicing, pleosomal introns generally have the dinucleotide sequences GU at 5 days and AG at 3 days and these sequences mark the sites where splicing occurs. Last process is the 3 days processing, cleavage and polyadenylation. The pre-messenger RNA processing at the 3 days end of the RNA molecule involves cleavage of its 3 days end and then the addition of about 250 adenine residues to form a polyadenyl tail. The cleavage and adenylation reaction occurs primarily if a polyadenylation signal sequences 5 days AAUAAA 3 days is located near the 3 days end of the pre-messenger RNA molecule, which is followed by another sequence which is usually 5 days CA to 3 days and is the site of cleavage. A GU-rich sequence is also usually present further downstream on the pre-messenger RNA molecule. More recently, it has been demonstrated that alternate signal sequences such as UGUA upstream of the cleavage site can also direct cleavage and polyadenylation in the absence of the AAUA signal. It is important to understand that these two signals are not mutually independent and often coexist. After the synthesis of the sequence elements, several multi-subunit proteins are transferred to RNA molecule by CPSF and UGUA dependent processing site. Binding of the multi-protein complex is done by cleavage factor 1 or CF1. The resultant protein complex formed contain additional cleavage factors and enzyme polyadenylate polymerase or PAP. This complex cleaves the RNA between the polyadenylation sequence and the GU-rich sequence at the cleavage site marked by the 5-day CA 3-day sequences. Polyadenylate polymerase then added about 200 adenine unit to the new 3-day end of the RNA molecule using ATP as a precursor. As the A tail is synthesized, the transfer of the sequences specific binding proteins, cleavage and polyadenylation specificity factor or CPSF, cleavage factor 1, CF1 and cleavage simulation factor 1 occurs from RNA polymerase II. These three factors bind to the sequence elements. The AAUA signal is directly binds multiple copies of polyadenylyl tail binding protein, which protects at 3 days end from ribonuclease digestion by the enzymes. This is the summary of the RNA processing. Next one is these are the summaries of the RNA processing. Now I end my topic. Thank you.